What's going on, family? Welcome back to DXB Crypto with a crucial update. The market is in extreme fear, and we haven't seen this for a long time. The last time you're seeing real fear like this, you've really got to go back to April lows. Okay, so the market was in an extreme fear between April, right? Between March and April 2025. This was a real absolute fear. And are we about to see this again? Well, yes, we are, because what we're in is exactly the same predicament right now, and things could potentially get worse. But here's the thing. I believe the bottom could be in, because the market forces are basically the lowest they've ever been. You know, the macro liquidity picture is going to improve at some point. However, this is extreme fear territory. Whenever we see this type of fear in the market, we know that things are not really going to get worse, and they are about to reverse. This is a level and an area where fear becomes an opportunity. Okay, so that's the first thing. And if we look at across, different scales of fear, yesterday was 27, today is extreme. So this picture here is likely to reverse, is what I'm saying. And what are these major drivers of the liquidity reverse? And the first thing we need to do is look at this. I haven't touched this chart since the last live stream. However, Bitcoin is at a key level. Again, there are two key levels here. This particular key level here is the one that we need to make sure we reject and reverse from. Having said that, I still do expect for maximum fear, we are in extreme fear now, and for that fear to maybe dip below 20, we need to go to 62%. Okay, so this level here is key. We have seen a wick come up, but you can see it is in a bearish order block, and 62%. If we flip this level into support, then of course the wick that we've had when the market dumped was all the way here at 63%. And by the way, I just want to give a big shout out to Nansen.ai, the sponsors of the show today. Grab your Nansen wallet and track smart wallets with the link in the description. Also join our VIP, the DXB VIP crew. So let's continue with this. What we're seeing here, as I'm clearly explaining to you, is a level, like if we get the next 2 months, right, and this type of fear and greed index basically dipping as low as 15, right? If that happens, then that is going to be a level where most people leave this bull market, okay? Having said that, and you can see here the price of Bitcoin was around $81,000. $81,000 was the low, 85, and of course we did dip here to 78 at the start of it, 78,171 or 717. Of course, right now we are entering a different macro picture. So here's something that I need to explain to you so most of you can understand what we do in our VIP Discord. And of course, like I said, always join. It's only $9, but it will definitely help you manage your emotions and become less erratic and see the opportunity in the market. I posted earlier, the bottom could be in for Bitcoin. Okay, the bottom could potentially be in, and we may be seeing this run continue until the US government shutdown ends at the end of the month, or maybe even up to December 3rd. But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm actually offering you in terms of clarity. You don't get more clarity than that. We are now in a point, or at a point in the market where we are suffering from analysis paralysis. What do I mean this? If there's anything I've learned, everything is driven by liquidity. And of course, altcoin, Bitcoin itself, with the current shutdown, where is the liquidity coming from? You really need to ask yourself that. Now, the overnight US lending markets have been, dry, and basically the Fed has been draining its repo facility. And this is why I've been more relaxed, because I know I understand the conditions and understand the liquidity that's coming into the market. And especially when you look at this piece, as I continue, Every bull cycle is different, but what's not different is basically the level of fear that we have. So I understand the concerns many people have, and of course we need to see how the US economy continues to improve, or if recession is going to be confirmed. We need capital injection. The People's Bank of China, or what's called the BPOC, has been injecting significant stimulus into the Chinese economy. Gold in Shanghai is a further reflection of this. Trillions of dollars are being printed to monetize the debt in China. China's M2 money has absolutely surpassed the US by over 25 trillion, right? China's M2 money supply now is twice the size of the United States. Now, if you know anything about the Cold War, the United States, of course, Trump's having a bad week. Zoran Mamdani has now been elected the official mayor of New York. There's been, a lot of defeats now across the country in the elections. The governors and the mayoral elections in the US. But if you know anything about the US and China are locked in an eternal Cold War. This is the Cold War 2.0. And with China taking the lead now and relief in the market with literally what's doubled the US, right? This is a real concern, and we are about to see the printers go off. Stay with me, guys, because a lot of you have emotionally driven look at this market. Yes, we are down, but we are not out. We are down, but we are not out. The US M2 Delta versus the S&P 500. This is incredibly important data. And this data takes away your emotions. Alts are incredibly cheap right now, and this picture will not remain the same because we know the US debt has now gone up to $38 trillion, but these guys don't care. We may see up to, 40, 50 trillion, 45 trillion, whatever the case might be, but the printing is going to happen. Now, what's more interesting, this piece of research that I published in our VIP Discord today, is the trend flipped back in 2009 after the global financial crisis, where China began an aggressive wave of credit expansion while the US pursued quantitative easing, right? Quantitative tightening is where we're at now. Now, quantitative easing will end, as announced by Powell. How aggressively is what we're waiting for. Since then, the two lines have never crossed back. China kept injecting liquidity into its system, sustaining growth, infrastructure, exports, while the US has gradually slowed its monetary growth post the pandemic, right? Very, very important, very, very key that you understand what I'm saying to you. If you are one of these people who are scared right now, you have every right to be scared. Fear and greed is sitting at 20. It is okay to be scared. What is not okay is not to read the signal. The US and China are locked in a Cold War. Anything from minerals to tariffs to the new moon landings. This is a great time, in my opinion, where this quantitative easing is going to be absolutely nuts, and we are going to be sole beneficiaries. Crypto reacts the fastest to liquidity in the system. That means it's a full risk-on environment. Let's continue. Now, in simple terms, liquidity is the fuel, and China holds more than anyone else. And of course, I'll take on the reported funding pressure in overnight facilities, of course, that I published in the Discord. The bank's lending, and I have been monitoring this forever, right? So why are we going through what we're going through? It is not October, and certainly there has been a stress which is surging in the overnight lending markets, and of course that has been shown in the market itself, right? So yes, we do have all of these bullish macro factors. However, if the macro picture, if the liquidity is not there, you are going to see a situation where we need to, we need to be basically shaked out. Our overall belief in the market will be tested. You will not buy altcoins, even though the altcoins versus BTC chart is beautifully bottoming for us. And it's never topped since 2021. That tells me they need the printing, they need the QE, and the banks need to absolutely have liquidity. You know, the crisis that's happening. I think Caveman pointed it out. Shout out to Caveman, by the way. He basically, you know, pointed out the auto crisis in the US, credit card crisis, mortgage crisis, right? So, you know, here's what my kind of thesis is, right? The one thing I know, the price action is always the key indicator. Listen very carefully, my friends, because again, I'm doing a bit of God's work here, to be honest. Smash the like of the video. One thing is for sure, we are near to the bottom, then we are near to the top. Many altcoins are going through a bear market. It is a great time. I'm seeing 2022 prices, and I'm seeing, you know, 2023 prices. I'm seeing FTX prices even. So the key thing is you either have no capital and you do nothing, or if you have some reserves with these prices, you continue dipping into the market and buying quality assets. I just posted a DC alert for Tau because Tau has come back into an important price point. It is a very important cryptocurrency. And I've posted charts for SAY, for example, and where it needs to go. I've posted a chart about Virtuals Protocol today. I've posted a buy alert for Epic Chain at a certain level, right? Now, do not sell. This is the key word at these lows. If you have, and again, if you have quality assets, yes, there are those shitcoins that are putting us down, but ultimately 90% down, there's no point in selling those, in my opinion. You might as well hold on to them because the next phase of the market will produce many regrets. And of course, don't get bloody shaken out. Now, while liquidity to the bottom, okay, very important, will be swept. Keywords, liquidity is building up on the highs, right? You need to understand what's going on here. Dirty leverage driven game, all right? And of course, in a low liquidity environment, classic market manipulation, right? Market psychology is absolutely playing out to its maximum. I believe we will eventually have what I consider to be a devastating bear market. But with the $1 million question is right now, where do we go? My answer, are we there yet? Are we in a bear market? My answer is absolutely not. Accumulate if you can. And most importantly, if you have no money, you better chill, my brother. Just chill, sit on what you have. This is an important update on the basis of what I'm seeing in the market. This is the chart for Near Protocol. Like I said in my live stream, again, you know, nowadays, you know, I used to panic a bit previously, you know, when these things happen, and I know everything that goes up must come down and everything that comes up, that's at the bottom must go up. It's the way, it's the laws in crypto. You cannot get a better bear market indicator than Near Protocol, right? It was below $2. It is below $2 now. I even project this to be around 150. Okay. Also, you can see we have filled, and this goes for many altcoins. We have filled the, you know, some key levels here. Right. What we're seeing here, market liquidation candle gone. Right. Let's go to the daily. Market liquidation candle almost gone. There we go. We may end up filling this on the daily, but that was the bottom around this 150 wick that we had unbelievably from over $3. So this is what you're seeing. There are plenty of opportunities. BTC is at 101. Again, I think we will hold around this 98, 96, 97 area. This could be the low. I'm not saying it is 100%. I don't have a crystal ball, but I see prices going back up, largely also driven by the lack of liquidity, and the US government shutdown. Okay. Very important update, guys. If you listen to this video, if you watch this video, your emotions will be much better handled. And things like this are, for me, the biggest signal as to why I should be doing what the opposite of the crowd is. Could it get ugly? Well, we know we got ugly here back in March, April. I'm showing you what the Bitcoin price was and what the fear and greed was. And you could see perhaps, you know, we had that massive fear there, 25. We've actually even beaten that capitulation candle in terms of the fear and greed, but we haven't seen the red yet. Could we dip below 20 here? Possible, right? Absolute possible. But when the market is in fear, and last week, what a contrast, right? What a contrast a week makes. This was us last week. Extreme greed at 79. And even the collapse between yesterday and today is very clear, guys. But my message is very clear. Crypto is here to stay. Crypto is here to win in the long run. Watch Bitcoin dominance. Watch some of our key charts that we bring to you consistently, including, you know, the total 3, which is obviously now nearing its towards the bottom, completely oversold. You know, we can look back at April, see what happened. And back in April, of course, we had the weeks that we were spending at the bottom. So far, you know, we're starting to see this, you know, very important key level that we need to claim back. But how long do we stay here? And you can see here back in the February to March, that period, all the way to April, end of April when it crossed over, you could see we stayed there for good, you know, few couple of months. Okay, so don't rule anything out of that, guys. You know, stay patient and stay vigilant. And anyway, when you see capitulation, buy quality. This is your chance to level up, right, guys? Until the next one, my friends, like the video, share, subscribe to the channel, check out Nansen.ai, check out Tangent, check out all the channel links, support us, share the videos, and of course I will bring you another video very shortly. Take care. Have a blessed one.